Young men today have a serious problem when it comes to blaming others for their current situation in life. You can see this all the way from the poorest of the poor to the wealthiest. This is something that comes with maturity for the most part. And as being a young person myself at 23 years old, I hear a lot of older people talking about this, of course, but the young ones, seem to kind of ignore it half the time. So here today, I'm going to be going over 5 main reasons why we need to absolutely eliminate the blame game and completely take ownership on not only your actions, but just where you're at in life and the cards you were dealt. A lot of young men today struggle with the home affordability crisis, and I fully understand it. I'm there too. I do not own a place, but I am saving up myself. And there's major areas like the one I live in, Boston Metro, which are crazy. I mean, just a regular home, one bedroom under 1,000 square feet is about $350,000, let alone a regular house is probably about 500,000 to 700,000. That brings me to the point of blaming others. We can blame the boomers all we want. We can blame the government. And of course, we can blame the big companies like BlackRock and such that have taken the housing market and completely exploited it. But at the end of the day, it's our responsibility and it's our problem now. This is one of the hardest things to overcome because we have zero control over it and a lot of it seems out of reach. But now we got to just start getting creative. And as you can see here, what is blaming all this crap going on in the world that we don't control over do? It just completely removes the idea of a possibility from happening. The only way you're going to get to this goal of owning a home nowadays is if you work extra hard or get creative or move. This has been going on for many, many decades of people having to move out because of either gentrification, oil plant going out of business, a coal mine going out of business. Things happen. So quit complaining and let's get on to it. When you take the responsibility, you control your life. Instead of just thinking about all the problems that are there and coping with it, instead of actually doing something about it, you have no control. You're just completely oblivious to anything that's happening. You shove it off because the opportunity that could have been there if you were prepared isn't anymore because you're completely blindsided to it. You have to take responsibility. Absolutely. Just like in this housing situation. Control is what actually changes your situation because change is the only thing that you have when you're in a bad situation that you can't avoid and that wasn't your fault to begin with. And that's the majority of what I'm talking about is things that aren't your fault. People blame those so much more than things that are. And it does make sense, right? You should be blaming the things that you did have control over more than the others, because you have to maneuver around them anyway. There's nothing you could have done about it. If you start taking control and blaming yourself on everything, it's my fault I don't have a home, it's my fault I don't have a better job, it's my fault I'm not jacked, this eliminates hesitation and allows for growth. Your excuses go way down. So when you don't have any excuses, the only thing that you can do is move forward. You're never just standing still because you can move forward, mess up, and that may seem like you're moving backwards. The more amount of failures, the easier the failure becomes and the easier the rebound, just like in every area of life. I mean, this is a repetitive process sometimes when it comes to daily life. But a small couple of changes of not blaming your laziness, the fact you're unhealthy, economics, how much time you have, it's going to do wonders. One of my favorite sayings of all time is preparation meets opportunity equals luck. And that is so true. Never say, I didn't have time. Just be honest, blame yourself, and say, I didn't prioritize. Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. Now, I've never been here before in this regard, but if you say people never supported you, you should look to yourself and say, I didn't build value enough for people to care. That's real deep right there. One of the most important things in life is discipline. Do we agree with that? Well, that's my third point. Once you stop blaming others, you're going to eventually just roll into discipline and self respect. That's going to happen overnight. Overnight, when you actually believe in the cause and believe in yourself that this is my fault. I was put here in this situation. It's my fault to get out. It's my fault if I stay here too. You're going to do consistent things over time and see the results. But if you consistently do nothing or consistently have bad habits and keep yourself down, whether it be financially, relationship wise, your housing situation, your job, you're disciplined in sucking. Do you want to be disciplined in sucking, or do you want to be disciplined in doing greatness? And that's what this point is all about. Is you could be disciplined in your daily life. I'm just going to watch TV in the morning before work. I'm going to go to work, show up 15 minutes late. I'm going to be disciplined in that. I'm always going to show up 15 minutes late until the boss, gives me a write up. Then I'll only make it 10. I'm going to always go to Jersey Mike's and McDonald's for lunch. I'm never going to save that money, because why would I? And you're disciplined, going to go home, play video games, go to sleep, next day repeat and repeat, and on the weekends you're so tired you don't want to do anything. You're going to be so disciplined that you do absolutely nothing throughout the rest of this year, except for maybe your couple of vacations. Is that what you want for your life? No. Be disciplined in the hard stuff. That way things get easier. Be disciplined in moving every day as a work in progress, like a business. Your life is your business. If you treat it that way, what would happen if you had a boss over your head judging your daily life? That's what your mentality should be at here. Otherwise, just treat it like how you treat your work. Just suck at it, do the bare minimum, quiet quitting. You know how that is. That is a great example of people blaming others for their situation. It's the whole quiet quitting movement, but that's a whole separate video. You start off pretty fragile in this world. I think we can agree on that. And the things in life toughen you up. But what about taking charge of your life is that you become adaptable. When certain things get thrown your way, you're not going to break like you would have before. And getting yourself in more and more uncomfortable situations by changing your situation or completely getting destroyed and wrecked for a period of time. And if you embrace that suck, completely embrace it. Like, fully understand what is going on, and you blame yourself and take that charge, you're not going to be fragile anymore. You're going to adjust and grow within that. Adjustment, change, development creates that discipline that we were just talking about. Stoicism is one of the easiest signs to see if someone is successful. If in stressful situations or when someone's attacking their character, they don't break. Something that I've certainly had troubles with when I was a teenager. But now, it doesn't faze me. And it truly doesn't. I've been exposed to many things. I was considered an emo. I was considered antisocial. I was considered some suicidal school shooter, which none of these things were truthful, of course. And then when I started having a social presence, people would accuse me of being, from daddy's money, being gay, being autistic and retarded. And all of these things hurt at the time. But now when someone calls me that, I completely am used to it. So that fragileness has gone away and I've adjusted and become completely just able to respond in a collective way that I never lose sleep at night. If you are losing sleep at night because someone called you a name or someone threatened you in a nonviolent way, you have some serious work to do on your emotional control. When you take charge of what you're doing in your life and you blame everything on yourself, it separates you from people. Now, what I was saying before, does it really matter what people think about you? No. And you shouldn't be any higher or lower depending on that. You should tell the truth in what you believe in your conviction every day. I just actually did this last night with a situation that I felt pretty uncomfortable confronting, but I'm glad I did, because either that person respects me more now because I confronted them about something I felt was wrong, or they just were fragile and they couldn't see the constructive criticism that I had. I immediately tell when someone is the blaming person, when they have no control over their life. I think it takes a very long time for one person like that to understand that there's people in this world that don't care, and they will just do what they need to do in silence, in complete objectivity against what anyone thinks. And there's been a few compliments I've got from people over the years that I was this way, but very few. And those people are the people who've had troubles in their lives and I think have grown a lot. But unfortunately, many will just completely not see the vision and will completely just disregard you. So there's that separation in a good way, but there's separation in that bad way too, which I don't really think it's that much of a big deal, because I don't really want to associate the people that don't associate themselves with a higher level of life. If they just want to be drinking and partying and doing nothing with their life forever, I would rather not really be friends with them and there be no rifts or no issues, because when you grow up with people, there's a lot of that tension when someone breaks off and tries to do something of their own. But when you're just like meeting people, it's not really a big deal because people just separate. They know what they're connected with and they know what kind of bond can be created. And someone who wants to do successful things doesn't want to be with someone who wants to be a loser for the rest of their lives. This person will never want to go to the bars, and this person will never want to go to the gym. It's just like that. That separation is key, and it is very powerful, and why friends and people who you hang around with is important. But it really isn't as strong as people think it is. I think the most important thing is separating yourself from blame and taking control of your life. So if you gained any value out of this video, I would much appreciate the like and subscribe, and we'll see you in another video talking about men's struggles and growth.